You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Survivor After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Survivor After Show.
What's up, boys and girls? Bing is for doing. We're all back, all 4 of us, doing another live after show for Survivor Season 25, Episode 9, Little Miss Perfect. I'm your host, AJ Gibson, joined by the lovely Christina Cha, who's been here through it all while the rest of us were out the last couple of weeks sick. We apologize for that, but we will make up for it tonight, I promise.
Please.
That was a loud intro. That was a loud intro, but I can't hear myself on my mic. So, Ryan Allen Carrillo, welcome back.
How are you? Feeling much better. And glad to be here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Justin Walter, super fan.
I'm here.
And we've got a big guest tonight. Not big in size, but big in stature. She's a legend. She's played this game 3 times, started off in Season 2 Australia, came back for All-Stars and Heroes vs. Villains, Jerri Manthey.
Hi. Just as you can see, I'm not really that big.
No, not in size, not in size.
Little.
Villain, right?
Villain.
You're a villain that season, right?
I was a villain, but by the end of it, I actually came off as a hero.
She turned it around.
Yeah.
You did.
Villain to hero, that one.
That's right. I had a full character arc. That's what they like to say.
There's no better story than a villain turned good. So, we want to apologize again for not being here the last couple of weeks, you guys. It was just a weird, it was like the perfect storm of all of us getting so sick. I hurt my neck one week. It was just weird.
It was Halloween, too.
You got your flu shots.
A lot of stuff. I did get my flu shot.
You did?
Yes, and then I got sick.
Yeah.
Isn't that terrible? I feel like that happens a lot.
Never get a flu shot.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's not true.
Little
Yeah.
sidebar real quick. My mom told me when I got it, she goes, you know, last year your grandma got a flu shot and a week later she was dead. So I digress, but I'm just saying I got sick and I got nervous. But we left Christina high and dry last week. I want to apologize for that. But we all want to talk about last week's episode real quick before we dive into this one because it was a huge episode.
It was huge.
And we weren't here to talk about it. We had a guest in studio, Sugar. I've met her before.
It was nice for her to
We
be
shall
here.
not
She
talk
was a
about
lively.
this.
No, she
Enough
was,
said.
No,
Moving on.
No, Sugar's
Moving
great.
on.
Sugar's a
No,
great.
let's not give any more.
Sugar, calm down, Christina. Sugar's a great girl. She's a character. She did in the studio exactly what she did on the show.
Yep.
She was a character.
She is who should not be named.
Absolutely. We do appreciate that she was
Along
here.
with the other one.
However, we've got a great guest again in the studio tonight, which we're looking forward to getting to know a little bit in the next hour. But before we do that, let's talk about last week.
Yeah.
It was an exciting episode.
It was a great
crazy.
episode.
One of the better episodes in Survivor in the last few seasons, I would say.
I think that is the episode that's going to be the turning point of this season. Tonight's episode as well was amazing, but last week, all of us, I was texting you guys when I was watching it. I was jumping up and down where I was. I was going crazy.
It was the first time that Lisa actually spoke up and strategized and was playing the game. And
Publicly, yeah.
Publicly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it scared me a little bit because I really, really like Lisa, but I don't, and I was afraid maybe she's going to say too much.
Right.
And that tribal council, like, I was like, yeah.
It's interesting to see how she's sort of grown into an actual survivor the last few episodes. Because at the beginning of the season, I will say she's really, really lucky that she was on the tribe she was from day one. Had she been on one of those other tribes, or Matt Singh, she could have been the first or second voted out easily. They always go for the older women or the older man on the tribe. She lucked out, and now she's finding her groove. She's found her niche.
She's exactly what I love about the show, the sense that she came on so insecure, just like Dawn did, which we discussed when she was on our show, and like very insecure, like fish out of water, and you think she'd be confident being an actress, but then again, we know a lot of insecure actors and actresses all of them in Los Angeles. But like how she's literally completely evolved. She's the most outspoken at the at Tribal Council, and she's very, very like she's come into herself. She almost like it's like a very spiritual moment for her.
And I think what's interesting with her is the internal conflict that's going on. And I mean, I relate to her on so many levels. When I watch the show, I'm just like, I get it, because you go in there and you want to stay true to your alliances. You want to be an honorable person. But at some point, you have to play the game, and you're forced with the choice. Do I stay honorable, or do I now change it up? Because Hello, we're trying to win $1 million here. Let's not forget that.
And she's on a tribe with a bunch of kids. A bunch of kids who aren't that honorable, and they would stab her in the back in 2 seconds, and they talk about it openly.
And they're bullies.
They don't know how to play the game.
I always think talking about honor is a little strange for the show anyways. In my opinion, I think it's just a big poker game or Monopoly, and you go into it knowing this ahead of time. Like, I would never be conflicted lying to someone's face because I know it's a game, and it's not real life.
But
like,
it is strange when you get out there.
Maybe just because I lie a lot in general, but...
Okay, that's scary.
It's true, though.
I hope I don't see you in a dark alley. But, I mean, honestly, as someone who's played 3 times, I have to say it is a very difficult thing that no matter how much you prepare for it or you think you're ready to do this or that, when you're actually faced with a decision, it's a totally different thing. Plus, you're under so much stress, and you know the camera's there, and you haven't eaten or slept.
And we've also heard about plenty of survivors who've gone off the show dishonorably in the past, who've lost their jobs, lost friendships. Bad stuff has happened after they've left the show because they sort of get vilified out there. So I'm sure that's going through all these people's minds to some degree. They don't want and Lisa, she's a strong Christian woman. That's always conflicting when you go on a game like Survivor. And you have to remember, she is viewed by America. She was America's sweetheart in the 80s. Yep. She was the epitome of beauty in the 80s, and that in and of itself, and then aging and not being on TV for the last 15, 20 years. I mean, that's
not having anything.
Also, being a child actress and being a Christian, also trying to have that great reputation and being like in the public, being presented the proper way. She must be thinking about that on the show too.
Because you know what happens nowadays to young starlets, to these girls who grew up in the Disney or Nickelodeon worlds, and they're huge, and then look what happens to them.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a different age, but she has kind of stayed above the fray all these years, and now this is her kind of her first foray back into, you know, prime time. And I'm just falling in love with her all over again.
I'm eating it up.
Yeah, I think one thing in last week's episode that made it such a great episode is this was one of the first times post-merge we've seen such a scramble of alliances. Usually teams and tribes stay loyal to each other.
We're actually going to talk about that. We've got somebody on the phone line right now who might be able to give us some good insight. We've got RC on the phone. How are you doing this evening, RC?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for calling in. This is AJ. It's nice to meet you, not officially, but on the phone. So what did you think of tonight's episode? And we're talking right now about how things have kind of shifted the last couple of episodes and how Lisa Whelchell's kind of actually stepping up and playing the game. What do you think about that? And what do you think about tonight's episode?
I mean, you saw my face at Tribal. It was this relief. It was sort of like this relief that, like, they finally got it.
Yeah.
And, like, I thought that they finally got it when Jeff Tank got kicked off, but clearly they didn't. And so this, with artists getting kicked off this week, it's really a turning of the tides. And I think that Lisa finally started playing, Michael started playing, everyone sort of started stepping up and playing, and I think it's an amazing season. I hope
Even
you guys
Carter
are
was
enjoying watching it too.
Yeah, even Carter did something, which is a first.
Voice.
Spoke up.
Yeah, right?
He still had glazed over eyes, but he was speaking.
Did you enjoy the look on Abby's face as much as we did?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
I said, did you enjoy the look on Abby's face as much as we did?
I mean, all her faces are really priceless, right?
So politically correct.
And her personalities.
So for being on that tribe, RC, do you think Abby is basically the reason why that tribe has fallen apart? If Abby hadn't treated them the way that she had treated them, do you think that your original tribe would have kind of stayed true and Scoopin would have voted with them?
Oh, 100%. And I think that Peter is very underhanded, and so when he does things, it's not as overt as Abby, but when she does it, it's like nail and coffin. There is no secret about where anybody stands with her, so when she sort of lashes out, you know where you are. And so I can't believe that Lisa's even lasted this long with the tongue lashing that she usually gets from them, like I got and like Michael got. So it was really just a matter of time. If Abby didn't blow up at us all the time like she did, I think we would have really been in denial maybe that we got turned on so early, and we could have gone straight through, pagong the other tribe, and then basically been blindsided. So on the other hand, it's kind of fun, right, to have Abby on because you get a lot more drama and a lot more shifting of alliances.
Oh, we love to hate her.
Yeah. How did you feel about watching the whole thing that Peter making the switch about the whole, you know, manipulation with the whole idol thing and then kind of throwing you in the bus? How did you feel about them watching that?
I mean, it's tough to watch, but I lived it, so I was, you know, under no illusion of how we really stood with each other. You know, I just don't think that I'm a type of girl or woman that he's used to dealing with, and he couldn't control me, and he said it to my face, and that's why he really wanted Abby and not me, and was really targeting me to get out and planting the clue and trying to break us up as an alliance, because he couldn't work with me because he was afraid. And so, you know, I think it's also a testament to kind of what a stupid player he is. He's just not smart and doesn't think things through. Making moves like that on day 7 when it's a 39-day game is just ridiculous. So I don't really blame Abby as much as I obviously blame Pete, but you can't blame him because that's just how he is.
Right. I was thinking about this as the episode unfolded tonight. There's all this talk about the alliance between Skupin and Lisa and how tight that is. Yet at the end of the night, they split their vote. Do you think that was strategic? Do you think they did that on purpose to maybe make it look like, look, we're not as tight as everybody thinks we are, taking a little bit of the target off of their backs because they knew they would still have the votes without Lisa flipping? Do you think that was strategic on their part, or do you think really maybe they're not communicating as well as it seems?
No, I think you really got the essence of everything that they really are as an alliance. And I think the best part of their alliance was really that they've never voted before. And so they get to walk around and say, oh, we're really not that close because we never vote together. But in actuality, they never have to vote together because they knew that if one person flipped, it didn't matter. And so they let Lisa sort of save face a little bit by not having her flip during that vote because they didn't need her. And so I think you're right. It's sort of like they are so close. They're the closest twosome, I think, even before Malcolm and
Denise.
Yeah. But you don't really ever have that exposed.
They trust each other enough.
Really smart.
They trust each other enough that they don't have to vote together every single time.
I think personally it was the perfect opportunity for Lisa to stay the honorable person that she wanted to be. That's a scenario that happens a lot in Survivor.
And Skupin took that weight off her shoulder.
Yes, he did.
Oh, what a gentleman.
I love Skupin. I'm a big
and I think
Skupin
that
fan.
Lisa was very honest with us that when she said on the island, which I don't think is getting played that much, is that her life is bigger than Survivor. She used to say that over and over and over again, and I didn't really know what that meant at the time, but obviously now I know what it really means, and it's her reputation in Hollywood.
You know what?
And so I really, value her and love her as a person, but when it comes to playing Survivor, she really does have to battle that good versus evil sometimes.
And I love that you bring that up because I actually wrote down, she actually did say this at the end of the episode. She said, and I quote, "My life is bigger than this game, and the game is bigger than me." And then she went on to elaborate a bit, but I thought that was a very poignant moment in the episode. I love that quote, and you kind of saw it a little bit at Tribal Council, and she was kind of, Jeff was kind of going back and forth with her and Abby a little bit. The difference in the two women sitting next to each other. She's got, 20, 30 years on this young girl next to her.
No, I'd say 20. I'd say 20. Yeah. Be nice.
She carried herself with such dignity as opposed to Abby, who just looked like she was ready to just fall apart and start crying and clawing her way back into this game. It was really interesting to see the two different types of women next to each other. I loved that.
RC, quick question for you. On the island, you did not know about Lisa's background. Skupin and Penner never revealed anything to you guys. Would that have changed your opinion of her, knowing that she was Blair on The Facts of Life if you knew that playing the game?
100%, and not in the way that you think it would. When I first met Lisa, thought she was lying about something. There just seemed like something was off. And so if you remember back to the first episode, I didn't want to be in an alliance with her because I had this feeling and I didn't know what it was. And now I know it was just her lying about what she used to do for a living, which is meaningless to me because I don't know the show and I don't know the genre really. And so if I knew that that's all it was, then I would have been in an alliance with her and probably not with Abby.
Oh, that's really interesting. I never even considered that.
Yeah,
that's a great question.
And I'm sure she didn't consider that either. It could have actually helped her more than it actually would have hurt her.
Because, like you said, a lot of us didn't know. I didn't know who she was.
What?
Can I just say?
Are you serious?
They had no idea.
I had no idea.
I mean, that was a huge show for me growing up, and I loved The Facts of Life. I could still sing the theme song right now.
Let's hear a little.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them all. There you go. The Facts of Life. The Facts of Life.
Round of applause.
And she looks exactly the same.
She does.
I love Lisa. She's the one person more than anybody else, and I'm a big Scoopin' fan for obvious reasons, but I cannot wait to meet Lisa.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
She is really great. RC, without giving away.
Of course, you can't wait to. Sorry.
Oh no, of course.
And you too, RC.
Thank you.
You're part of a very large.
Jerri, here I was going to say you're like the sexy one from like the first couple seasons.
Jerri is a hottie. She's still a hottie.
Yeah.
But RC, I don't know how.
And apparently still a villain.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The original Black Widow.
Girl at heart.
Well, RC, you were part of a very large, trust me, very dysfunctional Survivor family now.
Yeah. Met some of them.
Incestuous, dysfunctional family. Did I say that?
Well, like,
This is how
if you have to write on paper what, like, the worst case scenario would ever be for like your Survivor playing, I got it. Certainly not what I anticipated, but fun nonetheless.
I'm sure. Well,
Trust me, it's never what you anticipated.
Right.
Even if you've played before.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank
And
you
it's
so
different
much.
every time, right?
So much for calling in,
Totally.
RC. Any closing thoughts for us? Any predictions? You can't tell us if you already know some things, but any predictions for the upcoming weeks? Things to look out for us.
Sure.
You know, I just think that this is like a really important episode with artists getting really blindsided. I think it's really telling of potentially what might occur and people really coming to their senses. And if they don't do something, then they're not going to get the final tribal. And you have to make big moves sometimes. So I think I'm really just excited because obviously I wasn't there. I was just only at Tribal Council hearing it. What's really going to transpire on the beach coming up soon.
So excited to see next week's episode. Thank you so much for calling in, RC.
We should tell RC too that we're going to be at the Survivor finale. We're going to be doing the press there, and we also are throwing the official Survivor party on Friday, which we'll give you little details because we don't want it to be public.
I'll send it to you.
So we will meet you soon.
Yes, we'll be meeting you soon.
Survivor after party.
I can't wait to meet you guys.
Take care. Thank you.
Jerri.
Thank you for calling in, RC.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
She's adorable.
She's great.
I like her.
I didn't really care for her the first couple of episodes, but then I started to like her more and more.
She played so hard right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
And
Abby.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when I saw her
Not a
smart
good
enough to
strategy
separate
in the
herself from
beginning.
Abby a little bit, then I started to like her a little more. So honestly, I can't stand Abby. So
Me neither.
let's get into this episode, okay? It opens up with Penner revealing that he's the one who voted for Abby. She does not like that, of course. But he loved the Tribal Council. He loved the dysfunction, the craziness. He's like, I had no idea what was going on. He voted alone. I mean, really. And then Lisa just comes back and she's just crying. She feels terrible. And at first I was like, I don't know if she's really that genuine. But then as she really felt awful. And I felt awful for her. I think she's got caught up in the game. It kind of got away from her a little bit. And I think it's admirable. And you see very early on, she talks about this later, but you see early on that the people she was trying to save are the ones who turned on her when they got back to camp. The people that she was trying to get rid of kind of took her, they played smart. They took her under their wing and they said, look, honey, it's okay. We get it. We respect you for it. That's cool. That's a smart call on the Calabar tribe.
I think when you have Penner, who's played the game now 3 times, you know, going into a tribal council not knowing what's going on, I think that's a testament to the craziness that was that tribal council. The fact that he was out of the loop, didn't know what was going on, and it just struck me as like crazy.
Penner's really impressed me. He's kind of the Dan of Big Brother. Big Brother fans out there, Dan this last season, genius.
Dan.
Didn't win it this season, but Penner's kind of playing the game like that. He's scrambling a lot. He's on the verge of getting voted out every single week.
He's working it.
And he sticks around.
Yeah.
And he's likable. I like the guy.
I love him.
I know. I've grown to love him too. And I, for some reason, through all these years, I've never actually met Penner, and I don't know how that's happened.
Oh, really?
But so I didn't really have any preconceived ideas of him. I just knew that he was coming back.
He's like the Oracle this season. Like he's like, you know,
really is.
sitting everybody down. He's the Oracle of the island.
Well, let's talk about when he talks to his interaction with Lisa this episode.
With Lisa.
Oh, yeah.
He pulled the producer card and her the actress card. I mean, that was like the most manipulative conversation, even though it was done in a very sweet way. It was still, let's face it, incredibly manipulative.
And
Manipulative.
And the odd thing is, I feel like it was genuinely like good therapy for Lisa.
Yeah.
I feel like she knew she was being manipulated, but she didn't care because he was seeing her.
She needed to hear it.
Understanding.
Exactly.
He was seeing
her.
Yeah.
Who she truly is, what she's really, her insecurities, her struggles. You know, being a young teen celebrity, at the caliber she was at, and now taking this path towards Christianity and this other life, there's a reason, generally, midway through your life, you reach out for something like Christianity, and it becomes such a large part of your life. It makes sense. It's not a far stretch to think that maybe she felt a little bit lost as this teen celebrity and wanted something bigger in her life, something with more of a purpose, and he sees that. And he's playing on that, but he's doing it in a way that's respectful. And it doesn't make you dislike Penner. You're kind of like, you're a sweetheart, but you're a manipulator.
Because he knows he's the last one there, and that everyone wants to vote him off. So that's smart that he's building an alliance with Lisa and then also with Scoopin.
It is smart, but I don't think that many people could do it.
No.
I don't think a lot of people could pull it off.
Not like
he does.
that. I mean, he's
very
genius,
Right.
honestly. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed with him.
I think he believes what he's saying too.
Absolutely.
So it is genuine. So regardless if there's a purpose for it, he's genuinely saying what he really believes.
He has a quality that not a lot of survivors, I think, generally have each season. There's always a few each season. He has an ability to meet people at their level, meet them where they are, and talk to people at their level, as opposed to some people come in like a bull in a china shop, like an Abby or like Pete, who just talk down to people or just yell because they don't know how to. Yeah, they don't know how to interact. If you look at Penner, he can hang with the boys, the young guys. He can talk to the young girls. He can talk to a woman as a woman. He meets people where they are, and that's probably one of the best qualities to have in a game like this.
That's why he's so good.
And he's a producer. You know, he lives in the land of smoke and mirrors. He's very good at what he does.
He's creating a story arc.
He rubs everyone the right way.
Exactly.
That conversation was crazy. When it was going down, we looked at everyone. Is this conversation really happening? He's basically saying, do you want your story on this season to be the good story or the bad story?
And they aired it.
And they aired
which
it.
is interesting.
I could not believe, because we're told over and over again, don't talk about anything production, don't talk about storylines or any of that stuff. And to see that actually being played out on the screen was pretty amazing. But
And I think
Because of the way he said it too, it also could you could take it both ways. Either he's talking production or just the story of your life.
And I can't help but believe that by showing that, there's a reason they're showing it. This storyline isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's going to play out the duration of the season, and I can't wait to see it.
We were all saying that Lisa is getting the storyline of the biggest winner ever right now. Ever.
Yeah.
She's one of the biggest heroes we've seen in so long play this game.
She's poised for
Or if
such
not
a
winning, she would win fans' favorite.
She's already won this
Oh,
season.
sure.
She's won beyond if she wins the $1 million or not. She has won this
her
season.
career has. If she wants a career in Hollywood when she comes back, I feel like she could have a show tomorrow, and people are just going to love her.
Right.
yeah.
Because generally the people who've been the quote-unquote stars of the episodes have been the villains. So it's refreshing to see someone who's, I mean, granted, some people did say that she was a little villainish because she's done some things,
But you know what,
she's
though?
just so
Well, that's
likable.
the thing. Somehow, some way, she is being a villain. She's playing this great strategic game, and she still looks like a hero.
Right.
Now, I'm actually very jealous of that.
I think it's kind of genius, and I think
Take a lesson from her.
I think as Survivor fans, I can speak for myself here, and Russell Hantz is a good friend of mine, but it's really nice. He's a great guy. He's a great guy in person.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
I have to agree with
He's
her on that
got
one.
you wrapped. That's because you got something he wants, dude. Seriously.
Nothing. Not a thing.
I think he's tremendous.
I think
Yes,
he's great.
he does,
But it's nice to see a season of Survivor. It's nice to see you booked Sugar last week. Need I say more? So it's nice to
We
see.
read the iTunes comments.
It's nice to.
Don't hold that
Apply
against
that
her.
to some of those people too.
Let me finish my statement. It's nice to see a season of Survivor without a Hantz on the cast.
Oh, thank
It's been a
God.
while.
Yeah, and you know what I think, going back to Lisa being a villain but also being a hero, I think it comes down to who she is as a person. She is that genuine person that people would gravitate towards too, whereas people would argue, like Jerry's saying, Russell isn't that person, which he comes across as a villain and a mean person because that's who kind of.
Oh, and I get it.
You know,
And
that sort of
He's
thing.
mean.
And I think probably you probably understand this as well as just about anybody in reality. I get it. I would be cast as a villain in the heartbeat. I kind of was on my show. I understand it. I'm not a villainous person, but that's how the blogs tore
We
me
were
up.
hated.
Yeah, and it's so easy. It's so easy to. you lose yourself in these situations, and you're not exactly. You don't have control of your edit. You don't have control of any of those things. They can make you.
I know that one.
And to go to your point too, it is go to your point earlier. It is so different to actually play it than to be on camera than what you see on TV. It's like
for sure.
so different.
Honestly, after Australia was done, I got home. I felt so good about the way I played the game. I was proud of myself. I felt like I was really a stand-up person, and I really took charge when I needed to and sat back when I needed to, and I watched the show.
Oh, gosh.
Completely different experience than what I actually had.
Do you think that's what made you go back twice? You wanted to change
3
that
times.
perception?
Absolutely.
Well, 2 more times. She went back 2 times after Australia, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only motivation I had for the second time was to change what people saw or what people thought of me. And what I found out at the live show was that you cannot change what people think of you.
I think you did.
You walked out of the reunion.
I walked off because it was so overwhelming. The feeling of hate coming at me that I did not deserve on any level.
Yeah.
But I did heroes
and
and
what
villains.
I think is interesting in terms of watching you the second time was you could tell that's why you went back for the second time, and it didn't translate into a good game or genuine. But the third time you were yourself.
The third time, I think you changed a lot of minds.
The third time I went there to win $1 million. But I decided that the game that I needed to play was a lot more quiet. And it was so easy to do with people like Russell Hantz there and Parvati and people who were actual villains.
Right.
That's why I think one of my favorite quotes that I said myself was, I felt like I was Mother Teresa out there.
That's interesting.
It was.
Because there's
Let me
much
ask you
worse.
this.
Oh, horrible.
Poverty was also known as a villain, and you are also known as a villain. What would you say between you and Poverty? The difference, as far as like the villain scale, if we were to weigh it.
Well, I think that's a really good question.
You're one of the originals.
We want it in pounds.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that you brought up Parvati now, too, because she's also one of my other favorite people in real life, too. I love her and Russell both.
She's very sweet.
Oh, yeah.
But, getting close to her
We're talking about the
is
game.
very difficult. Yeah. But as far as the game is concerned, I think her gameplay is very unique to her because her whole thing is flirting. And it's disgusting when you're a woman and you see it so clearly, and you see everyone
And there's nothing you can do about
for it one by one, and they're all saying, "Oh no, I'm not going to fall for that." But I watch it, and I'm just like, I'm in awe.
Genius.
We wouldn't fall for it.
Unbelievable.
I would.
I know. You know what? You would. It's really sick.
Wow. I'm scared.
But I don't know if that really makes her a villain. I just always thought of her as just a really annoyingly flirtatious girl.
There have been a lot of pretty girls on the show, and she's definitely, I don't think she's the prettiest girl to ever play Survivor by far, but she has something about her that's
Sex
just,
appeal.
it just oozes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, and I'm not even into the ladies, but there's something about her.
But I will tell you, being called a bitter old cougar by her, that's when I went, okay, that was one step too far with me.
That was 2 steps too far.
I know why you love her. What did she say to you the first time she met you in 2 licks?
Well, that was hot.
Something about sleeping with you or something.
she hit on me the first time I met her.
Like I said,
She's like,
right there, bam, that's Parvati.
The first sentence.
And you know what's weird? I considered it. And he was my boyfriend at the time. Moving on. So, the reward challenge. Let's talk about this reward challenge. The tribe gets split up, the one tribe. What are they called now? Dangrain?
No, Dang Rain.
Dang Rain.
Dang Rain. It's brilliant.
I may have missed it. Did they get split up randomly?
I just got it.
Wait, what is it? I still don't get it. Say it again. What is it?
Dang Rain.
It keeps raining.
Like Dang Rain.
Dang Rain.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe you guys didn't get
I
that.
didn't get it till
And
now.
we're smart people.
Oh my God, I saw the
Dang
banner
Rain.
and I went, that's brilliant. I love it.
That's funny. I keep looking at it. I wrote it down. I'm like, Dan? Who's Dan?
So funny.
And Grain.
Oh, God, you guys are so cute.
This will be the first tribe name I'll ever
So
remember now.
Pretty.
Dang Rain.
That is so
Wow.
funny. It's so hot in here all of a sudden.
It is hot in here. I just had a hot
We
flash.
all get
We all got.
we all get a check by our names right now.
By
for
the way,
these.
Justin,
I think I'm going to take a layer
RC
off.
says sorry that you lost her in the poll, fantasy poll. So she says she's sorry.
Thank
I lost my whole team anymore. I'm over that
No,
thing.
you got Carter.
Carter's not doing shit. Who?
So-
Who's Carter?
Let's go back in the beginning of the show.
Well, we're going to the reward challenge now, is where we are. And the tribes
Whoa, tension.
The tribes get split up, and they have to crawl through mud, over a hill, through rice. They have to dig the bags of balls out of the mud, and then get all 12 of their balls into the basket. We'll get. I know what you want to say, Jerry. We'll get there. But Penner, one of the best moves I've seen in years on Survivor, makes a really simple decision to dig out every single bag and get behind the other team, but he digs out every bag, places them all in the corner, and goes about his business.
Right. Genius.
Right.
Genius. And I have to say, because I'm dying over here, how cruel is it to make a bunch of starving people crawl through rice?
Yeah.
Right? And like the whole time they're on the screen all covered in it, I kept thinking, oh God, I hope they go and wash that and then use it and eat it.
Artist brought it up back when he was back at camp. He had rice all over himself.
Well, Artist is eating plenty of food right now. So the cool thing about this episode, and I love these sorts of rewards where you get to see some of the culture of wherever they are, because they don't do it as much as they used to on Survivor.
They did it in Gabon.
Yeah,
And Africa.
it happens every few seasons. But the winners of this challenge, they get to bring toys and school supplies to a small village, and in reward, the people of that village then are going to cook a meal for them, which is pretty cool, I think. I wrote Calabao wins just because that's basically the tribe is made of
Yeah,
Calabao.
the tribes were divided by their original tribes. Is that random?
Yeah.
Which did you see the food? The food kind of looked like Kentucky Fried Chicken. I saw
Yeah.
like fried chicken drums.
And
Like,
they put it on like some leaf lettuce.
Yeah,
I'm like, you bought that at Ralph's.
Right. Who set that food up?
And Jerry, you just kept saying they're gonna have some stomach problems after that.
Oh yeah.
I did, yeah. I was like, wow, yeah, no toilet paper.
Yep.
Guys, just keep that in mind.
Because your stomach's not used to it. You've been starving. You've been eating coconut the whole entire time.
It's
And then
so-
when you get grease,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
the worst.
it's
Yeah, the
not
last
cute.
thing you want is grease.
Well,
But
what I
boy, is it good.
What I love about these moments in Survivor, I love seeing like the pure joy on these kids' faces, these villagers' faces. And I made a comment while we were viewing this. I'm like, it just reminds me of how shitty Americans are sometimes. Like kids in America like get upset if their iPad is down and they can't get Wi-Fi or their cell phone isn't or whatever. And these kids, they're playing like basketball with a homemade hoop with no net, and
With a
they're just
coconut.
having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
What's funny, I like seeing the pure joy of the contestants, actually,
Yeah.
because actually if the other team would have won, I just can't imagine they would have appreciated it that much or really taken it
I
in.
feel like Abby would have like been slapping kids and telling them to get away from her.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Right. They'd have been braiding her hair or something.
Yeah, and then Scoopin and Lisa would have had a great time, and Abby would have made fun of them.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would have been great to see Lisa. Though. She would have cried.
Let's not talk
tears.
about making
She'd adopted a couple of them.
Scoopin may have too.
Yeah, yeah.
Add
He's already
yours
got enough
members of
kids.
10 kids. Yeah.
It's too funny. So then after the reward, before the immunity challenge, we're back at camp, and Abby, I just wrote down Abby, really stupid. She's sitting there talking to Lisa.
Yep.
This is actually while they're away at the award, correct?
Yeah.
She's talking to Lisa, and she tells Lisa, look, I just think that you're gullible and you're naive. I don't think you meant to. I just think you just don't get it. I'm like, and Lisa just, God love her, she bit her tongue and just stood there like a woman and just took it.
Right.
And Abby
She's
just
very
went
smart.
on and on and on.
I just don't understand how you can go into a social game like this and think that you can just say things like that and just be straight out rude.
Well, here's the thing.
Rude. She doesn't have a concept.
It's kind of I think it's kind of a cultural thing. Where is she from?
Brazil.
Okay, it's a different. South Americans interact with each other differently than Americans do, where we view it as rude. Where she comes from, maybe it doesn't come across as rude. Maybe that's how
I don't know if I would
I'm not
let
buying that.
her represent all of Brazil.
Right.
Agree.
No, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. But
What I'm saying though is maybe in Brazil that wouldn't be considered as rude.
No.
I don't think
If you, okay, if you take an LA person, drop them off in New York City. The gay boys in LA would be crying after a week in New York City.
Wait, New York
Absolutely.
City is the friendliest place I've ever
But
seen. Way friendlier than LA.
Once you understand it. Day one, though, you think New York City is this hard place, everybody's rude.
Never.
Put
I don't know.
aside
I love New
cultural
York.
differences.
I love New York too.
She
And
just
people are
treat-
smart.
They're real.
And they dress so
They're
good.
real.
Putting aside cultural differences, the way she just speaks to Lisa is degrading.
I'm trying to give her the
and
benefit of the doubt.
negative, and
Don't do it.
No.
But there's a
It's
reason why they
just-
keep a player like that, just
Well-
like they kept Alicia, because they're thinking no one's going to vote for them in the jury,
Well,
so
that's
might
true.
as
And
well
that's
keep them. That's
one
why they
of
have
Lisa's
them.
main reasons for sticking with that alliance is if she goes up against Pete or Artis or Abi-Maria, you have that $1 million wrapped up.
Yeah, you do.
Where if you go up against Malcolm and Denise or
It's gonna be a
Penner,
tough one.
good luck.
Yeah,
It's going to be
yeah.
a lot harder.
You know
Yeah.
what? In all fairness, Ooh, I think Lisa's got a pretty fair shot against just about anybody at this point.
Definitely.
At this point.
But you also have to recognize if she does flip, then she's got her original alliance majority of those people on the jury, whereas they might be voting against her compared to.
If it was America voting, for sure, yeah, that, but you have to also think it's different when it's there, for sure.
When it's them that she's screwing over.
Right. You know what though? That doesn't always work out that way.
Who knows?
In theory, you think it does, but there have been plenty of seasons though where
have no idea
the people who the people who
make the moves.
Yeah, they end up turning like, look, you're on my tribe and you voted me out, but I respect you.
You either have a bitter jury or a non-bitter jury.
She's winning fan versus favorite.
As long as you don't vote people out in a malicious, disgusting way like Russell Hantz tended to do and throw it in your face when you're sitting there going, I'm going to vote for you to win $1 million, and you say you don't need me and I'm a jerk and why am I there? Well, you know, that's a big thing too.
Look at Kim just last season. She stabbed everybody in the back and they all voted for her. And she was sweet and likable.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got to respect her. She played the game pretty well.
Well, the good thing about Lisa is constantly in tribal council, they're going to her and saying, you're playing the game. You're a game player. This is a game move, where it's not like that Russell Hantz type vibe where this is personal. This is not a game move.
Exactly. You know? Not attacking you face to face and saying you suck, you're a terrible person or anything like that.
Russell played the game like a bully. Yeah. He's one of the.
You don't even know.
I think he's one of the.
Just looking at your eyes, the terror when she's talking about Russell.
He was scary.
Well,
like, he's someone that like intimidated and scared people. And that's not cool. Totally.
I think his original season was one of the most genius seasons I've ever seen, minus the social game.
Yeah, but that's what Survivor is.
But he made it to the finale.
Well, that doesn't
Not a lot of people have done that. So I'm saying
know, but
he didn't
win.
The part that, but he made it.
Why.
And the part that he plays better than anybody. The problem is he's missing a very key component, which is the social game.
Yeah.
And you can never. His game could get him to top 3 or 4 just about any season, but will never, ever, ever win him that game.
But it didn't get him anywhere near the last time he played because he played the same exact game every time he played.
That's why I said the first
But
season.
it has got him spin-offs. It's got the entire family on more shows. I'm sure he's going to be doing Amazing Race. I heard that the other day. I mean, it's like
I think people are kind of learning that he's not a good person. He's really not that interesting to watch.
Let me reiterate that I love Russell.
I love Russell.
We keep talking about Lisa. Well, I think one of the things that's huge this episode is that Lisa Skupin alliance, that Lisa Skupin bond.
I love it.
That it's in Skupin back in Australia. One of the things I loved most about him was he had that bond with Elizabeth, that like good person bond that was so sweet to watch. America's sweetheart, and again he's with America's sweetheart, which is a great alliance. But in the water was that huge conversation of what are we going to do?
Yeah, and also, well, he knew who she was from the get-go, and I think that earned her trust.
Yeah,
and
because he didn't tell anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And after we go through this immunity challenge, which we'll touch on briefly, they had to balance 6 balls on a paddle.
He dominated.
Yeah, and Skupin killed it.
I didn't think anybody was going to be able to win that one. That looked impossible.
Yeah, I know. I thought it would take hours. I'd still be out there. But Skupin won it easily and instantly took his head off the chopping block, which made that whole alliance with he and Lisa still strong because nobody's voting for Lisa yet. And it made them so pivotal. And Penner talked about it a lot in this episode. He kept using the word fulcrum. You're the fulcrum vote.
I know, I had to look that up.
Meaning though, like you're the swing vote. Yeah, like you could tip the pendulum either way, and that kind of fell on either Penner or Lisa because they, like we said, they didn't have to vote together to switch the vote. Just one of them had to switch.
Right.
But their alliance is really, really interesting to me this season, and I love it. It's nice to see because Skupin to me is kind of a buffoon, and I love him. He's adorable. He's likable. But like those first few episodes,
he's just a big kid trapped in an old man's body.
He cut his eyeball. He cut his head, his eyeball, his legs,
How about
his
shoulders like oozing on the episode?
Abby hit
What
him.
about the coconut? Okay, the guy can't even lay down and be lazy without getting hurt.
He got hit in the head by a coconut from Abby.
Right. Which who Have you never opened a coconut before? Let's throw it against the tree.
I know.
First of all, have you ever opened a coconut?
Yes, I have. I drink young coconuts all the time.
You
Look
get
at this
them
skin.
you get them at Whole Foods.
Look at this skin.
It's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Love it.
He's a mess. You do look good for 40.
Are you 40?
Not
No. Nearing.
I was like, damn, we need to talk after.
I got all the secrets. I got it from Madonna.
No, but I love watching these two together though. It's
Cute.
It's nice. It's nice because earlier in the season it was all about Denise and Malcolm, and now we're starting to see. Well, they're still there.
I love Denise and Malcolm.
They're kind of just sitting back though, and as we see once we get to tribal council though, Denise does have a plan, you know, and she puts it into play right before they head to tribal council. She says, "Look, we can't go for Abby. She might play the idol. Let's go for Artis because Abby could give the idol to Pete." But she's not going to give it to Artis.
Never give it to
Such a good move.
You know, I don't know if that was a good move
No,
because they should have
great.
flushed it out. I think they should have.
doesn't.
Well, this is weird too, right? Because there's two idols that have obviously been thrown in everybody's face, and no one's really talking about them anymore.
It's like silent, like no big deal.
But they know they're there. This is a really interesting situation. I don't think that's ever really
Well, I
happened
think
before.
the thing with idols, this has kind of become the case in more recent seasons than it used to be.
I hate idols.
They don't flush. Well, there's so many of them now,
I hate
and they don't get flushed out as often because it's a scary thing to do. When you're like right down the middle, your tribe, their tribe, or your alliance, their alliance, you don't want to flush it out and take a chance that one of you could go randomly.
Yeah.
Because you could go with one vote and you'd just be gone and have no idea. So the value of the idol nowadays is more so in just having it.
Threat.
Yes, it's a threat that you could play it. It doesn't get played like it used to, I don't think. And I think that to go after Abby, I don't. What would be the point?
It hurts my brain, honestly, to like. When I did Heroes and Villains, like we would be like, okay, well we need to get this idol out, so we're gonna get 4 votes here and 5 votes there, and by the end, I'm not good at math, and I'm just like, what? Like, how does this work?
And in all fairness, why would you ever go try to flush the idol out with Abby? Keep her to the end, no matter which alliance you're in. Keep her ass to the end.
Yeah, she ain't winning.
No one's gonna vote her.
No way. Nobody's voting for her. So don't even worry about that idol. Keep your 5 strong, and then start voting your own 5 out, and let her flip over and take her to the end.
Yeah.
She's terrible. Nobody's gonna vote for her.
Not a single vote.
Never.
Right. I'm not even going to the club with her. I can't even do it.
Lord.
In terms of Scoopin, I think one of my original concerns with Scoopin coming into the season was he played in 12 years ago, season 2. Is he going to change his game and progress as a player? Because the game has changed drastically.
I think he's smitten that he's made the
He's done
merge.
so well, but Jerri, you played with him back in the day. What is your take on seeing him now play this game that's completely different from Australia?
It's been really interesting to watch. Like the second I knew he was going back, I got really excited because I've always felt like he's one of those players that got taken out way too early. He was a really strong competitor. I mean, he fed his tribe. Unfortunately, it was not mine. He was just a really good player. And to get taken out so quickly was just sad. And by the way, not many people realize this, but if he hadn't been meta backed out,
oh, they would have won.
I was next.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would have been gone.
Yeah.
My tribe was totally turning on me at that point. But, you know, I was excited to have him come back, but I was also very afraid for him because he doesn't really understand the way the game is played now.
But it seems like he's grown and he did pick it up in terms of being the swing vote tonight.
He's keeping his mouth shut.
Yeah.
And that's so smart,
That's key.
especially.
And he's making moves now, which I didn't think he would be making moves.
I didn't think so either.
You know what I find very.
I'm really proud of you, Mike.
Oh,
Yeah.
we all are.
Good job, Mike.
He has played an impressive game so far, and I think that we also have to remember that so much of this game comes down to luck.
Yeah.
So much of it comes down to your initial tribe, and having 3 tribes this season, had you been on a different tribe, he could have been the first one out. Or
If
their
one
tribe,
different person was cast.
Yes, or
Yeah.
if their tribe had just lost an immunity challenge at the beginning, could have been gone. And also, it is nice to see him kind of catch up, just stay with the times, because we got to kind of see what kind of game he played last time, but he never got to fulfill it out, or fulfill it. And it's nice to see him keeping up, because we've seen some of these past survivors come back, and I talked about this with you earlier a little bit. For me, when I saw Colby come back, I was so excited. He's one of my favorite survivors of all time. He was from your season in Australia, and he just was terrible when he came back.
Well, that was the 3rd time he came back. He was
Yeah,
so
he was
the
like hero
last
versus
time,
villain.
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
broke
such a dud.
it broke my heart, and
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, I remember you a different way. I would rather have just remembered you that way.
He didn't want to be there.
You could
Yeah.
tell.
And I think most of that was because he from what I understand, him and Tom Westman became instant friends, and they were like walking on the beach and talking about life. And meanwhile, everybody else was playing the game, and they made an alliance, and he wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And so from that moment, he's kind of a control freak, little OCD, and he had no control, and he checked out. He just totally checked out.
And I think also, I think I've noticed this in not everybody agrees with me when I say this, but I think in recent seasons, they've cast a lot fewer game players, real gamers. I feel like they cast a lot of models and
Those
LA.
are recruits.
Well, exactly. But they recruit a lot of these kids from LA or from these pretty people, and so it gives
gamers.
But listen, it gives Scoopin, somebody like Scoopin, an opportunity now to come back and just like. Look, it's a cakewalk. You guys are all so stupid. I mean, if you look at
that's how Boston Rob won. That's the only way he won that last season was because he played with a bunch of people who didn't. They looked at him like a celebrity. They didn't even play the game. It was the most disgusting season to watch because I was literally like, just write the check already, Probst. I know you want him to win. He won. Now, okay, now let's get back on.
Also, one of my favorite survivors of all time.
Also,
but it's a great story arc
too.
Yeah, well, my story arc would be better if I could go back and win. Just saying.
Let's put it out there.
You and all the other survivors.
Timer, huh?
Well, Survivor keeps getting renewed, and Jeff Probst's talk show wasn't doing that great, so he might need to hold on to that Survivor job for a little bit longer. Who knows?
Hey, you know what? I would say hold on to that puppy as long as it goes.
It still has great ratings. And obviously, I mean, we were talking about this when we were watching the episode, but we were literally screaming during Tribal Council, applauding, and like I was getting texts from my friends, my boyfriend, he was clapping and screaming too. Like people are really into it. Like one of the shows that you do this besides football and everything else.
And you have to remember, like their ratings are down, but it's like saying something. It's like saying, "Oh, American Idol's ratings are down." Well, they're still kicking everybody's asses. It's kind of the same thing with Survivor. Like their ratings are down from what they were, but they were so astronomically like ahead in the ratings for so many years that they could be down in the ratings.
They're still in the top 10 every week,
and they've leveled off the last few years. Like they've just kind of stuck around, you know, and they're still top 10 show.
Yeah, and I think this season is gonna kick it back into gear. I mean, it's been a great season.
It's funny. I thought the beginning was a little slow, but it's definitely
the last few weeks.
Because it was the same tribe over and over again. It just was kind of boring.
Nobody remembers the beginning of a season though. They remember how it finishes, and I think we're in for an exciting finish.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like as a fan, it's like my excitement for watching the episodes, like I'm back again waiting for Wednesday nights for Survivor to come on, which is awesome. When in the past few seasons, like Boston's Rob seasons, it was like, okay, we know what's going to happen.
And we've also been out of the studio the last couple of weeks.
I only missed one. I did 2 shows for you, AJ.
Did you?
Yes, I did. So thank me
You
later.
came with a whole group of friends.
I had to because you all ditched me last minute. But
you're texting us like crazy during the show.
I know. I keep texting everybody when I'm watching.
I helped you with a
My
guest.
friends,
I got Troy
no,
Zan.
I know. But it's like that's the thing. Like I have friends texting me when I'm watching Survivor now, which hasn't happened in a few seasons.
I'm about to change my number.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
You are a super fan.
You are a little much.
Hey, if you guys ever get sick again and you need someone, just call me.
She's great. Jerri's amazing. You're amazing.
I hate to say, like, I can't believe I'm still sitting around talking about the same thing, but I'm totally wrapped up in this season.
Not a bad gig though, right?
She knows the game. She understands the players. Perfect.
I want to quiz you real quick. What was her original tribe name? What tribe is she on season 2?
It was Kucha Nogakor.
Oh!
And she made it to Barramundi.
Oh!
See?
It's crazy. Legit crazy.
Isn't that wild?
She was on Ogakor.
Oh my God.
What was I on in All Stars?
I don't remember the tribes there, but and also the first All Star season, you were with Rupert and that tribe where the water went under
the shelter.
Yeah, the shelter.
Oh yeah.
We almost died that night. Seriously, that was still on record. If you talk to any of the producers, the worst storm in Survivor history. I thought we were going to die.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, we were completely stranded. No one could get to us. The storm was so bad. Yeah. The camera guy ran off. We had no one even recording us. No way to get a hold of anybody. There was like this tiny stream that turned into like a 10-foot wide raging rapid. I mean,
wow.
What'd you guys do?
So what did you do? What happened?
We basically stood underneath a tree, even though it was lightning. We didn't know where to go. We were like huddling, and we all were shaking and singing lullabies, and like we were this close to snapping. Yeah, I got hypothermia. I almost quit. Me. I almost quit. I was.
It's too much.
Woo, yeah.
You're no Nayanka or Purple Kelly. You're not a quitter.
Austin.
Oh, yeah, this season.
Dana.
No, I would never quit. No. But I almost did. And Rupert in that ridiculous shelter.
Yeah,
he tried to blame me for that last time I saw him. I was like, dude,
Yeah. Check yourself.
It's because he's running for office now.
Go back and watch
No,
the
he's
season,
not.
Rupert.
What do you think the one thing that Survivor has given your life that you're the most grateful for? The one thing you've taken away from it all?
That's a big question, but the first thing that pops into my mind is I feel like I can pretty much do anything. You know, even though sometimes I think I'm getting beat up and kicked down to the curb, I know that what I went through out there 3 times, if I can do that, I can do anything.
Isn't it funny? I think everyone that we've asked that question to has said the same thing. It's so true.
You build a resilience, a tolerance for certain things.
Confidence.
Yeah, confidence.
It's pretty insane. I mean, really, when you look back on it and you think about what you did,
Right.
I still say, I can't. How did I do that?
It seems strange, right?
Right.
And then you're in it, and then you just do it again.
Right.
Yeah, and
Like you check into a bad hotel somewhere, and you're like, you think for a second, like, wait a second, how in the world? I slept outside with no tent,
Yeah.
not even a star rating.
Yeah, but I will say this.
Could talk about Vegas.
If I have control of my life, as I try to a certain degree, I will never starve again. That was, I love food. I'm such a foodie. I'm a total.
Do you eat rice now?
I love rice.
Still.
Coconut water?
I love coconuts, but
You're good to
man,
go.
they are really hard to open. Like I went to the grocery store, I was craving coconut, the little hard brown one.
Yeah.
You have to like get a machete.
Oh, no, you don't, because you get a
Screwdriver.
machete and it flies off and hits Scoopin in the head.
Screwdriver and a hammer, and
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
crazy that you actually have to use power tools practically to get into a coconut
Right.
in your own house. I always laugh. I'm like, did
Again.
I,
You're like,
did
I
I
don't
buy
have a
this?
machete. I know.
Again, go to Whole Foods. They cut them for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
They're not as fresh.
well, true. I'm sure they're not as fresh as climbing up a tree and picking a coconut in some random
No.
exotic place.
Did you know that I think it's like 80% of all the deaths in Samoa is caused by falling coconuts?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
Really?
crazy.
Yeah.
It's like getting hit with an anvil.
I'm gonna bing that.
Yeah.
It's
but
a ridiculous percentage.
Before we get into our predictions for next week, I want to take a moment, you guys, to say thank you to all of our viewers and all of our listeners, especially out there on iTunes. You guys, we get so many downloads right now. We're getting over 3 million downloads a day right now from 77, I think, different countries.
Wow.
Pretty amazing stuff. That is
Wasn't it way more than
per day.
Oh,
No,
per
it's
day,
per
but
day.
16.
Christina, let me just do this iTunes read. I love you. So, no, I just want to say thank you to you guys, though. And I know that our show's been a little bit all over the place the last couple of weeks. Some of the hosts have been in and out and all over the place. We're either sick or we're in China or whatever we're doing. But we're all back here, and we're going to try to stick it out and try to be here for the rest of the season for you guys, because we're all huge fans. We love the show. We love our guests, and we love doing what we do. But we need you guys to go on iTunes and give us 5 stars. Comment. Tell us what you guys love about us. You can tell us what you hate about us, but please
Right.
tell us what you love about us.
Right.
And tell us what we can do better. Tell us who you want to see. Christina's got some great guests booked for the rest of the season, but we do still have some slots open. So if you guys want to hear from somebody, have somebody call in, maybe who's not here in LA with us, we can definitely do our best to try to get them on the phone for you guys, for our fans.
They could call in too.
Absolutely. And you guys can call in and talk
We
to us.
haven't had very many fan call-ins.
Many.
Yeah, and if you guys see, if you see somebody in the studio that you guys absolutely love and you want to talk to, this is your chance. We're here for you guys, so we want to just say thank you, and we look forward to the rest of the season with you guys. So, I want to go into some predictions.
And now,
Oh, here we go.
AfterBuzz
Oh, our
TV.
lights? There we go.
There we go. My predictions are very, very simple. I think Abby's going to lose her mind when she goes, the first scene I cannot wait to see when she goes back to camp, and she is going to lose her SHIT at camp on people, and I cannot wait for that.
You just spelled shit. She's going to lose her shit, you guys.
Shit, people.
Justin.
Well, we saw Artist go home by Mike Scoopin changing his vote tonight, and Lisa didn't change her vote. I think we have a lot of pairs now. You have Denise and Malcolm. You have Scoopin and Lisa, and then you have Pete. And I think it's going to be just a shuffle to the end. And I think Lisa. I think Lisa is going to win this season.
Lisa for the win.
Yeah.
Jerry.
I think Penner's going to win.
Christina.
Sorry.
Yeah, go,
Jerry.
go, go.
You're our guest. We'll let you go last. We'll give you the last one. Christina.
Okay.
Christina.
Hello, speak. Dead air. Dead air.
Oh, okay, I'll go ahead and go. I think
Jerry, who do you think is going to win?
Oh, no, I'm 100% on the Lisa bus. I really am. I think if she makes it to the final 3, there's nobody at this point, that could possibly beat her. And I'd be perfectly happy with that. And I want to meet you, Lisa.
Dead air.
Oh, yeah. Penner, all the way. I think he's going to win. He's just been playing an incredible game. And even for the final 3, I think it would be Lisa, Penner, I don't know the third person. I think probably either Abby or Pete because they're not the most likable person. So
I do like Penner a lot. I do like Penner a lot, and I also like Scoopin a lot. I think the problem is that I don't see Abby and Pete making it through the next couple of votes, and I see Scoopin and Penner having a real hard time up against Malcolm, Denise, or Lisa, any of those three. I think they're all really likable. I think if it comes down to it, I think that the veterans are going to have a really hard time winning in a vote. Because I don't think that most of these players want to see a veteran win.
No,
Whether they should or not, irrelevant. I just don't think they want to see them win. And there are a couple of really likable, really strong women that are still in this. And I think
love Denise.
I would give anything to see it come down to, if they do, I don't know if they're going to do 2 this year. They've been doing 3 every now and then, but if it comes down to 2, I would love to see Lisa go up against Denise.
Yes.
That would just be heaven to me.
I wish they would go back to the final 2.
Yes.
They did it a couple seasons ago, but they've been doing the 3 things so often.
Better.
And when you do 3, there's always a third person who doesn't get any votes.
No votes.
So it's pointless.
Yeah.
So,
And then I always hate now the way the last episode, there's like 5 people left when they go into the last episode, and it's like bam, 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 you know?
Yeah.
I don't like that either. Like,
it is a bit odd.
Right, let's cut it down.
Yeah. So, and I hope that the final episode going into the finale should go back to what they used to do on Survivor, and it always needs to be a balancing act. A balance on a pole in the middle of the ocean in a rainstorm, and the women always make it to the finale then.
And I would also really like to see the let's go back and play homage to every player.
Yeah, no, I'm over that.
I'm so sick. I'm like, fast forward.
Yeah, just get to the mimosa brunch that you always get on the very last day of the feast and call it a day.
I almost had that one.
So, Jerri, are you on Twitter? Are you on Twitter? Where can our fans follow you?
At Jerri Manthey. I also have a website, jerrimanthey.com. You can find out what's going on there.
Fantastic.
And Facebook. I'm all over Facebook.
All over it.
Social
Christina.
networking.
I'm at Christina_Chaw. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook.
Ryan?
Ryan A. Carrillo or Ryan Allen Carrillo on Facebook.
And Justin Walter.
Justin F. Walter and Justin Walter on Facebook.
Fantastic. You guys can follow me on Twitter at _AJ Gibson. My website is ajgibson.tv. Please go check it out. Like I said, go on our iTunes, go on our YouTube, comment, rate us, let us know what you guys think. We look so forward to coming back next week. It's going to be a really great episode. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks again to Jerri for being here. You guys
Thanks for having me. And Christina, you are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
Stunning.
Oh my God.
Stunning.
Unbelievable.
Take care, guys.
No.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.